we ought to remember that, of course, we do perform some servile arts, right? Lunch duty would probably be one of those.
Yes.
But there is, too, an honorarium component of all work, says Pieper. And I tend to agree with him. And I'm just going to notice that when I receive my paycheck thinking this is an honorarium, I feel better. It's a more uplifting experience.
Now you're back into Plato and his discussions for us of in particular. So let's talk about Socrates' trial for a moment.
Okay, the apology.
Yes.
Okay.
Do you remember his first defense when he sets out his defense of his work? Right. So let's set the scene for folks.
Yeah.
Socrates is on trial for doing what?
For dishonoring the gods and corrupting the youth.
Dishonoring the gods, corrupting the youth by
his philosophy and theology
and asking questions.
Oh yeah, sorry. Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
no, but I mean it's all philosophy,
right,
theology, his demeanor, his behavior,
right,
as a teacher, has been called into question as being heretical,
right,
blasphemous, and he is, if found guilty, going to be given the choice of drinking the hemlock, committing suicide, or being banished from Athens for life.
Right.
And we know he was found guilty and was given the choice, and he could not face the horrors of being alive and not being an Athenian. So he had a lengthy conversation
with Crito and others,
with his friends who were there with him as he hefted the weight of that goblet and at some point drank it willingly. One might say philosophically. But his first, he is allowed to defend his position, to give his apology.
That's right.
In its correct form.
Yes.
His defense.
Defense.
And his first argument is, I have never been paid for what I teach.
Right. I remember that he says, yes, my apology. I remember the part where he says, for what I have done, you ought to give me quite a bit of money, right? Like per year, and food in the pantry and all this stuff, right?
The background to that is his lifelong enemies are the sophists.
Yes, who are paid.
Who do what they do for pay.
Yes.
Not they get paid for doing something they really love, and so it's like an honorarium.
Right.
No, we work out the deal up front.
Yes.
And when we're happy with what we're going to get paid, then we deliver to you the goods.
Yeah. The original paywall.
Which we're supposed to be. Yes. Right.
Right.
And what were they trying to deliver? What the liberal arts.
Yeah.
But for an entirely different motive. For personal gain. And to not provide someone with a free life, but to provide someone with the power of the knowledge they had, the techniques they had. And so throughout, you see Socrates / Plato and their buddy Aristotle regularly pushing back against sophistry. Right? And so I am not a sophist.
Right.
What I have done, and he makes the distinction in there. To me, this is where we get to teacher honorification. Honoration. Appreciation.
Sure.
Is so Socrates states very clearly, when you start paying for education, and he reminds us, education is the cultivation of virtue.
Yes.
Which is kind of a big deal around this podcast.
Yes.
If you're attempting to cultivate virtue in someone else and you're getting paid to do that, it's rarely honest. You want the paycheck, so you figure out how to manipulate virtue in someone else, as opposed to the cultivation or the catching of the transfer of virtue through a relationship of love. In the end of the day, it's not a relationship of love. It's a...
Right.
Okay, I've put my 2 hours in. That's the end of our session.
Right.
Did your dad include a check today?
Yeah, right.
Or we do pay PayPal.
Right.
And so it struck me as we were thinking about this stuff, and you brought up the honoring. This is an old discussion